So it's exactly like losing weight, right? Exercising and eating healthy every single day for a period of time. That's when you notice the best type of results. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hi, my name's Eva and I'm a mortgage power planner. So I've seen these type of videos jotting about everywhere. So I thought I need to do my own version. As a mortgage professional, I think it's only fair that I talk to you guys about how to pay off your mortgage in 3 easy to follow steps. Because let's face it, mortgages, who wants to keep them for 25 or 35 years? I mean, our ultimate goal is to become debt free, isn't that right? So let's do it. Your mortgage at the end of the day is a debt, so we need to get rid of it. And how can we do that, I hear you ask? Well, welcome to Repaying Your Mortgage 303. 303? 101. Right, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So believe it or not, repaying your mortgage is actually a lot easier than a lot of people make it out to be. I know it's a scary thing to look at the amount of 100k or 150k, whatever it may be for you. It's hard to ever imagine repaying that sort of amount. But as with anything in life, steady progress does it. So it's exactly like losing weight, right? The best way to do that is to remain consistent. So exercising and eating healthy every single day for a period of time. That's when you notice the best type of results. So repaying your mortgage is very similar to dieting in a way. So let's go over the 3 steps to help you pay off your mortgage early. And you know how I mentioned about practicing what I preach? Well, this is a little bit difficult for me because my current mortgage doesn't actually allow overpayments or any partial repayments whilst I've got a fixed rate. So I've got a year left on my fixed rate. So I will be making use of all these steps in a year's time. But for the time being, I thought I'd share the strategy with you so you can get a head start on me, basically. So go on, go make me proud. So step number 1 is pretty obvious, but it's a vital one, and that's to identify your disposable income on the monthly basis. Now you might think, well, why? Why do I need to do that? Well, the reason for that is to figure out how much you can actually contribute to your mortgage on a monthly basis based on your income and expenditure. Now, the last thing you want is to compromise your standard of living just because you're trying to repay your mortgage early. You need to identify how much you can comfortably afford to put into your mortgage account on a regular basis. So the best way to do that, and once again, my all-time favourite word, you are gonna have to budget. I'm sorry, there's no getting around it. You need to know how much is coming in versus how much is going out, and also where all that money is going. And that's the key part to this. It's knowing, right, where is the money going? You need to figure that out. So once you've identified how much you've got left, if anything, you then need to figure out, right, if you haven't got any disposable income, you need to go back through your spending and see where you can make cutbacks. So do you really need that new pair of shoes every month? Probably not. So let's get rid of it and put that money towards repaying your mortgage. Now, if you've exhausted all the things that you can cut down on, or if you're on a very low income, for example, it may be really difficult for you to make those extra payments to find that disposable income. And you're probably not going to like what I'm about to say, but if you're truly determined to repay your mortgage early, and if that's something you really, really want, if becoming debt free is your ultimate goal, you are going to have to make sacrifices. But ultimately, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to increase your income. And listen, you can do this in a variety of different ways, so that could be picking up extra work, so either a new part-time job or overtime at your current position if that's something you can do. Now here's a little story. I mean, it's not really a story, it's just my real life really. But when I was employed, and I mean I still have it now, but when I was employed, I always struggled to get a higher salary. I always struggled to break past a certain point in my salary because of the nature of job I was doing. So in order to actually increase my income, I wasn't able to do overtime, so the only other way was to get a part-time job, which is exactly what I did. And I'm sat here now 5 years later and I still have it. And that extra income really makes a difference because you can use all of that towards repaying your mortgage. So have a look into it, because you never know, you might find a way that suits you. Now the next step is to make use of the 10% overpayments that most mortgages allow you to do on an annual basis. So the way that works is, if you have either a 2 or a 5 year fixed rate at the moment, or whatever it may be, 9 times out of 10 your current lender will actually allow you to make 10% additional capital repayments every single year to get the balance of your mortgage down quicker. So the way your monthly repayments work at the moment is they're made up of 2 parts. You've got your capital and you've got your interest. Now when you're making overpayments, you're actually only repaying the capital part, which is obviously the one that gets the balance down. So the 10% is calculated on the outstanding balance of your mortgage. So let's say you have 100 grand outstanding at the moment. So you would be able to pay off up to £10,000 in that year. And for argument's sake, let's say you've paid that off. The following year, you've got a 90 grand outstanding mortgage, at which point you can then pay off 9 grand that year. Do you see how this works? So what you need to do with this one is take the outstanding mortgage balance, which you can easily obtain either through your lender or through your mortgage advisor. A lot of the times you should actually have online access to your mortgage, so speak to your lender if you don't have that, as it's always good to keep an eye on your mortgage. But anyways, you need to identify what the maximum amount is that you can repay on an annual basis. So going back to my example before, let's say you can repay 10 grand a year extra. You then need to figure out how much that equates to on a monthly basis. So I've just totally done the maths in my head for this. With my example, it works out at £833.33 per month. My mental math skills are brilliant. So in this example, £834 is the maximum I could repay on the monthly basis in that particular year. Now let's face it, there's not many of us that can afford to repay 800 odd quid a month extra on top of our existing mortgage repayment. But from that figure, you can then determine what the affordable extra repayment could be on a monthly basis. So even if it's just 100 quid, it's better than nothing. If you can consistently repay 100 quid at a time, that will not only reduce obviously your mortgage amount, it will not only reduce your mortgage term, but you will save money on interest because you're not paying as much interest, and that's the vital part. So in the long run, it's actually saving you money in a very roundabout way. But yeah, the main thing to point out here is to avoid going over the 10% allowance, because at that point you will incur charges and you don't want to get yourself into that. So make sure you figure out what the maximum is that you can repay on a monthly basis and go from there. But ultimately, the amount you'd actually repay is what you can afford to pay without compromising your lifestyle too much. And the final step is to automate it. So once you've figured out how much you can afford on a monthly basis and make sure it doesn't go over the maximum amount that you can actually contribute, you should set up a standing order straight into your mortgage account, which a lot of lenders allow you to do, to make sure that money goes in consistently on a monthly basis, because that's ultimately the key to this. In order to be able to repay your mortgage early, you need to be consistent. You need to do it on a regular basis. And if one month you can contribute slightly more, by all means go for it. As long as you don't go over the 10% allowance on an annual basis, contribute as much as you can. And by all means, if you miss one month but you're able to make it up the following month, do it. There's no actual rules to this. But automation is probably the most important thing, because as human beings, we're shocking, right? We forget to do things all the time. So if it's automated, that takes away us having to think about it, which is great. One less thing to worry about. And that will ultimately mean that you're consistent. And as I mentioned before, that's the key to this, is consistency. Right guys, so I think I've bored you enough with that. And I think you get the gist, don't you? Paying off your mortgage early is easier than you think. And there are plenty of online calculators out there that actually allow you to calculate how long it will take you to repay your mortgage based on a certain overpayment. So I'll link some in the description box down below for you to have a look at, so you can make those calculations. But as I say, start off small. It doesn't matter what you start off with. The point is, start today and build up from there, because repaying your mortgage early has so many different advantages, and I'll probably make a separate video on that at some point because it is important to outline those. It is important to let you know why repaying your mortgage early is actually a huge benefit. But with that being said, this is it from me today. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel down below. And I'll see you guys back on Monday with a brand new video. Bye guys!